As you might imagine, when you're handling this dangerous material, you're supposed to be in an area that's secured. And there were many, many instances where that was not being done. So one of the other things we're able to do is use the FOIA effectively to find out what government's up to. Now, as you know, we often have to sue under FOIA to get the government to give us documents, but sometimes we know enough about the documents or are expert enough about the particular topic that we can focus like a laser on specific issues and get and extract the documents without having to sue. And this is a case where that happened. And it's related to a very important issue, the issue of biolab safety, not in China, not in Ukraine, but here in the US of A. And specifically labs monitored and regulated by the US Department of Agriculture. Why the Department of Agriculture, you might ask? Because the Agriculture Department deals with pathogens and diseases affecting livestock and plants and other things like that. So they've got a lot of stuff under study, and some of that stuff is pretty darn dangerous, not only to humans, but to American farming and cattle and other interests like that. Because you can imagine some of this gets into a livestock population, you could have economic devastation. So whenever you hear stuff about biolabs saying, well, they were investigating only animal-related diseases, so it's not it's not weapons research. Well, you can deploy a weapon against a country's economy. So what's the concern about the issues here in the U.S. Homeland is that we've got biolab safety issues here at home. And Judicial Watch was unable to uncover, through just 25 pages of records, heavily redacted. We don't know the labs that are causing the issues. From the Federal Select Agent Program that reveals safety lapses and violations at U.S. biosafety laboratories that conduct research on dangerous agents and toxins. Mishaps, human errors, animal escapes, improper and defective personal protective equipment, facility equipment failures, and containment failures continue to occur at some of the United States' most secure and regulated high containment biosafety laboratories. Now, I know you've heard in the lab discussions that, there are these levels of security at the labs in terms of biosafety, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4, I think, is typically seen as the highest. That was the Wuhan lab after a period of time. It's not clear the level of security at these labs because the labs are so big, you could have the same facility have different security levels for an area that's 4, an area that's 3, or an area that's 2. So that's the caveat I put out here. So this Select Agent Program is jointly comprised of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, of the Division of Select Agents and Toxins, and the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, Division of Agriculture Select Agents and Toxins. So this is a kind of a joint operation. It oversees the possession, use, and transfer of biological select agents and toxins which have the potential to pose a severe threat to public, animal, or plant health, or to animal or plant products. So on March 11th, we found, on 2021, this program sent a letter to a recipient, I guess a project or a lab whose name is redacted, meaning it's blacked out, we can't see it, titled Suspension of Registration. The letter advises the entity that their certificate of registration to possess, use, or transfer select agents and toxins is suspended due to the failure to comply with regulatory requirements. The letter further states that they had inventory discrepancies, systemic non-compliance with inventory record keeping and effective training requirements that would prevent these repeated occurrences. Despite repeated assurances after after a variety of incidents, that staff have been retrained on inventory practices and reminded of the importance of proper communication, they continued to report inventory discrepancies, specifically systemic non-compliance with the edicts put out there by this regulatory body. Now, when they talk about inventory, they're not talking about, how many pens and pencils they have. They want to know specifically where is all the dangerous stuff. They call it a vial by vial inventory. I mean, it sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? And the document also shows that if the certificate of registration was revoked, they'd have to destroy all the sensitive biologic materials there. So this is deadly serious work and issues. So this is the issue. You can imagine some of the operational failures at these labs are almost inevitable. Someone sticks himself with a needle accidentally and gets sick. Or that happens repeatedly. Some people get sick, some people don't get sick. Sort of things that something that where an accident happens and there's nothing that you can do about it other than hope it doesn't happen again and better train people. But what I found interesting in the documents that we uncovered is that a lot of the incidents relates to the doing experiments outside of the biological containment area. That's how I'm interpreting it. So as you might imagine, when you're handling this dangerous material, you're supposed to be in an area that's secured. And there were many, many instances where that was not being done. Now, that's not someone making a stupid mistake. That's someone who thinks the rules don't apply to them. That's poor training, that's poor discipline, and it's dangerous. I tell you, if I'm the Chinese and I'm looking at this, I'd be like, oh, well, maybe the virus got out of a U.S. lab. I mean, I'm being only half sarcastic there. Listen to this, a report dated July 6, 2020. This is the title. Report to Congress, notifications of theft, loss, or release of select agents and toxins for calendar year 2019. And this is what the report says. During 2019, the program received 13 reports of losses, 219 reports of releases, and 0 reports of thefts. Well, thank heaven for small gifts. None of these releases resulted in illnesses, deaths, or transmissions to or among workers, nor was there a biological select agents and toxins transmission to outside of a laboratory into the surrounding environment or community. And there was no criminal nexus. So this is pretty dangerous stuff that's going on, and as the report suggests, it's frankly, we're lucky that something terrible hasn't happened. So what is the solution here? Well, it seems to me that we got to be more discriminatory about what we support as federal taxpayers in terms of this research. Is the research so inherently dangerous that they shouldn't do it, and that the benefits outweigh the risks? I mean, that was the issue with the support of taxpayer support of the Wuhan lab. It's the question of the support of gain-of-function research. It's not clear if gain-of-function research was going on in any of these labs. I'm sure, well, I know it was going on in some of these, not these labs, but in biological labs here in the United States. And as I say, these documents uncover a pattern of serious safety issues in biolabs here on U.S. soil. And so, I mean, given these issues here at home, one can just imagine the safety issues of labs the U.S. funds abroad. We funded labs in Ukraine, as I think I'm allowed to say, because I guess highlighting U.S. funding for biolabs in Ukraine was seen as unhelpful to whatever cause the left was pursuing in Ukraine, but it's true. And of course, we had a massive program that Judicial Watch has taken a lead in exposing in China. Now, I want to remind you what we exposed there. Now, Fauci and his people knew about gain-of-function research in China, and they covered it up from the American people. And they were very much concerned about what was going on in the Wuhan Institute, and they covered it up from the American people. In fact, they had a Fauci agency spy. I would call her a spy. She wasn't technically a spy, but she was acting as if she was a spy. Very much concerned about what was going on in Wuhan. And they were concerned it was a threat, yet they were funding it. Crazy stuff going on. So this is what Judicial Watch does. You know, we're exposing the truth about the vaccines. We're exposing the truth about these biolabs. Not only in China, but also here at home. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.